It's a very interesting time for the Walt Disney Company because as the company places an enhanced emphasis on reducing operating costs, like getting rid of Rivers of America, for example, they're also attempting to maximize revenue wherever they can. And apparently that has hit Disney Vacation Club. This is very interesting, and I'm very curious to see what one has to say about all this and more. Here you go from blog Mickey. New Disney Vacation Club policy aims to limit rentals to personal use and crack down on commercial renting. This is kind of a big story here in the DVC community. It didn't get much coverage. We're going to cover it right now. A report from DVC News highlights an updated policy that Disney Vacation Club rolled out this month. The new policy aims to crack down on commercial renting that a number of members are allegedly engaging in. The new change includes a disclaimer that members need to check a box that clearly states that the reservation is being made for personal use only. Here's the latest. The newly published terms and conditions specifically note that the reservation must be for personal use, but that you can allow friends and family to use reservations, quote, on occasion. Disney does not define what, quote, commercial purposes are, but says that they reserve the right to define and interpret what is personal use and what is commercial use. And here's the relevant part for the updated language. You may agree that any reservation made under your membership are solely for personal use and not for commercial purposes, as required by governing documents for each DVC resort, including but not limited to Declaration of Condominium and Membership Agreement. DVCM reserves the right to interpret personal use and determine if reservations are booked for personal or commercial purposes in its sole discretion. Personal use may include enjoying the benefits of a DVC membership with family or allowing use of any reserved vacation home to friends and family on occasion. Additionally, personal use means that the member does not regularly or frequently rent/sell reservations booked using their membership. So Disney Vacation Club or Disney's timeshare service, what a lot of people were doing was, hey, look, listen, my points are either going to be expired or I just can't make it out to Walt Disney World this year. I'm just going to go ahead and put my points up on the market so that people can essentially purchase those points from me, book a reservation, utilizing my points. I get a cut of that. And there you go. Well, Disney might be cutting into that just a little bit by this new policy crackdown right here. Ron, your thoughts on all of this and more. I mean, I think that this is a way to maximize revenue by ensuring that people actually, buy into DVC rather than just rent points freely. But hey, who am I? Go ahead.
I'm trying to figure out how that's even legal. Like you have companies out there that specifically exist to rent out other people's DVC points. Right. How does that affect them? How does that affect Dave's DVC rentals? How does that affect the other companies that do that very thing? I don't know. And it's kind of weird. Like I have had a real estate license in the state of Florida. I held it for 4 years. I worked for the Disney Vacation Club. And they were, I worked for them 10 years ago. So I was there from 2014 to 2016. And they were at the very beginning of starting these types of crackdowns. For example, if you bought from outside of the company, you did not get all of the membership privileges. So, for example, there is resale within the company. You can, if you are on a DVC tour, you do not have to buy the newest product. Also, it's DVC. You don't own anything with DVC. Every single quote unquote purchase, you're purchasing a lease. You're actually only leasing the property. So for the very newest property that just opened, it should be, I believe it's a 50-year lease unless they've changed it. But basically it allowed you and your family to use the property for vacation time for the next 50 years or so. And so if you purchased on the resale market, you might purchase something that costs a lot less because there's only, say, 30 years left on that contract. So it would be significantly less. And Disney's really doing everything they can to keep that in-house and not let people purchase from outside of Disney. I wish I knew all of the legal ins and outs of this to know whether or not they're even legally allowed to crack down on that. It's weird because I know with other vacation rental property, if you own it, you technically own it like in perpetuity. Whereas with Disney, it's a lease. So they might have a little bit more leeway as far as these rules are concerned. But I know that a few years ago, it was a huge deal when basically they stopped allowing tour groups, like tour guides from outside of Disney, to tour people in the parks. And they basically said, we're stopping all that, and we're trespassing all of the people that had passes that own these tour groups. I mean, there are people that lost their entire livelihoods that they'd been doing for 20 or 30 years. And it kind of makes me think that this could potentially happen again, that, Disney just does, they don't want people to have any way or shape or form to make money from them. I mean, even with YouTube right now, they are they're not cutting off YouTubers from like live streaming or anything like that in the parks, but it does make me wonder what's going to happen when they are putting their own POVs up on Disney Plus. Like, what is going on with this company? Just kind of showing how stingy they are as a company, how greedy they are, and how none of this is about guest satisfaction, and all of it is about corporate greed, is what it feels like to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my take. And by the way, it's a beautiful property that you're showing. I've stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and it was nice.
It was.
Well,
I
it
mean,
sounds like
go
it
ahead,
sounds
Erika.
like to me they want to deter people from renting the points, and I guess they hope that they'll sell more contracts. That's kind of what it sounds like to me, is what they're in hopes
Correct.
of doing. Not so much
Correct.
limiting the owners, but they want people to buy into the DVC. But the reality is that we're busy. Life happens, from unexpected deaths in families and weather, last minute illnesses, that prevent us being able to, I don't want to say cash in on our vacations, but attend our vacations. And if you can't make it that year, then I don't see what the problem is, other than Disney's just trying to force people to, oh no, you can't rent anymore, but you can buy into it. And then contradictingly so, they advertise that their vacations, these contracts are, oh, it's tailored to how you vacation. And yeah, that's fine and good, but not everybody wants a car payment or even a mortgage for vacations. It doesn't matter how you pitch it or frame it to somebody. There are a lot of people out there that see it as a ripoff. And at the moment, yeah, because they're not even offering half the perks they used to pre-pandemic. You're better off just buying a single family house right there in the Kissimmee area, and you get a 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom house, two bathrooms, maybe a private pool, and the parks are right there. I mean, why am I going to go spending even the DVC price when they're not even offering 3-hour extra magic hours anymore for, all guest resorts, all resort guests, and all the, what they used to have. It's just
Get in like a
Disney.
half an hour early.
Oh, wow. A whopping 30 minutes, or once upon a time, it used to be a full hour before the park opened, and no.
Yeah.
And then you got Epic Universe down the road. People want to go to other resorts and hotels in the area. There's so much more to Orlando than just Disney. There's other beautiful hotels in the area. And with their de-theming phase of what they have on property, I mean, yeah, I could spend less and go to the fancy Marriott down the road, who's got a lazy river and for a lazy river for a pool.
Right. I mean, I think this is a very concerted effort to induce more DVC sales directly from Disney, and to cut down on the amount of third party rentals that actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's really the benefit to ownership? Disney has removed so many perks from the system that there really is no benefit to owning a DVC like there was 20 years ago. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, the other thing we haven't discussed is the fact that you can rent. Every DVC unit is available to rent directly through Disney, which is what they want you to do, because you'll pay about 3 to 4 times the amount renting directly through Disney than you would if you were renting somebody's points.
That's a fair
They
point.
will make a much higher profit margin,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's
Yep.
that's what they want. They want it all to go through them, which is, that's the weird thing about timeshare. When you like, how much control does the company are they allowed to have when they're technically selling shares? But also with Disney, they try to maintain that control through the shares being only a lease and not an ownership. And I think somebody said in the comments, all timeshare is kind of a ripoff, and they're not completely wrong. It's the way it's done. I can tell you, I know this for a fact because I work for the company. They are allowed to use 75% of what they charge for the maintenance fees as profit. They're only required to use 25% of them to actually maintain the resort. So and those maintenance fees are like what, 1,200 to 1,500, 3,000 a year. It depends on the points you have. There's other things I know about specific bodies that own large amounts of DVC, and it'd be interesting, for people to know. I'm not going to divulge it here because I don't want to get myself in trouble, but yeah,
Sure.
very interesting.
Marvin.
Woo!
Montenaro.
Hey,
Hello
what's
there, Marvin.
going on? Howdy, party people. DVC is a scam. Don't do it. We've looked into it several times, and people have tried to explain it. And I have friends that swear by it. Like, they love it. They think it's the best. And I've always just been like, how is this worth it? I don't understand.
Yep.
So, I have never seen the value in it. And Ron was 100% right. The thing that Disney hates more than anything else in the world is somebody to make a profit off of something that they do. That's why you see them routinely, they'll go through Etsy and see all like the handmade mouse ears, and they'll steal all the designs and shut all the Etsy shops down and then roll out their designs.
Yes, absolutely. They will absolutely do that. And it's, this requirement for the company just to absorb all revenue, to just squeeze the stone of all its blood every single moment. It's just ridiculous. But one of the reasons why they do that, folks, is because of all the failures in their film and television divisions. It's just, you can't incur a Snow White or a Captain Falcon, I guess, or any of the other movies that actually come out to the extent that they do without offsetting those terrible investments. Where does that come from? It comes from the Parks division, which is why probably Josh D'Amaro's in the lead position the way he is. But this attempt to curtail this kind of the rental nature of these DVC properties. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, agents will tell you, when they're pitching this stuff, oh yeah, you can rent these out, you can use third-party services and stuff like that. Like, they'll tell you anything to get the deal, obviously. But you go in with the idea that, hey, look, listen, this is a safe investment, and even if I can't make use of it any given year, I'm okay because we've got these third-party services that we can actually use. So the value statement is tremendously changed when you alter language like this. It's just really, really sad. I mean, Noel, your thoughts on this?
Disney wants your money. That's what they want. They're trying to take this from you. Do not let them take your dinero. But no, they are absolute penny pinchers here. Like, as someone who's seen quite a bit with the renting system that, people have tried to do, because sometimes life just happens, people, and they don't want you to really own anything they produce. They want you to rent it, lease it. I don't think I can really bring much more here from the points that this beautiful panel has already made. But I will say this news is just disgusting and sickening. Like, for them to look at just one little thing that people are still enjoying about this company that makes it somewhat still affordable for some people who want to get a chance to go out here, it's gross. And, usually these kind of moves are the things you see a big company do when they're just on top, conquering the world. They're going to leave no stone unturned because they're the greediest ones in the market. Now we're seeing a Disney that has had a very hurt reputation of people are going to the parks and they're subpar compared to what they used to be, but they still have not changed these greedy practices. And who's suffering most is the consumer, and it's tragic.
If I can add to that, so from what I'm understanding, because I came in like kind of in the middle of this,
Sure.
so Disney is trying to shut down the DVC resale industry, right? Like, people sell their points.
Essentially, yeah. So technically, they're cracking down on commercial renting. But they even say, like in their language, that hey, you want to hand this out to friends and family? We'll let you do it on occasion.
Yeah. So here's the thing. What does it matter? Like, why do you care? You've already been paid for these points, Disney. Now, what's happening is the people they either use them themselves, or maybe they make a little bit of their money back by selling it to somebody else. Either way, those points that you have been paid for are being used.
You would, okay, and from that standpoint, I completely agree with you. But look at the company standpoint, right? They're putting in this policy, right, because so many people are engaging in the practice of utilizing other people's points. There's no real incentive to buy into the program directly from Disney. See, and I think it's eating into their sales to such a degree that it's like, okay, well, we got to put the kibosh on this. But Disney, this is one of Disney's own making. They've reduced the benefits associated with owning a DVC in the first place. You used to be given annual passes back in the day. You used to be given all kinds of perks in order to incentivize you to purchase into this program. And
a lot more things, like Moonlight Magic events and stuff like that. They don't do that much of those anymore. They're pretty rare from what I understand. But also, I mean, look what you're getting, Vash, when you buy in. Like you saw that lobby that I had filmed in at that terrible Polynesian Tower. First of all, the Polynesian Tower itself looks like a Holiday Inn, but you look at this lobby, it's disgusting. That mural is the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. I called it the mural.
The mural. But think about it now, and Erika, I mean, you have people that from Europe that have DVC memberships that during the pandemic, when everything was closed up and they couldn't literally travel across the pond in order to utilize their points, Disney said, tough. You know, the year points expire no matter what at the end of the year, and people, people from Europe were very limited on what they could actually do with their expiring points in a system that they have paid thousands to be in. I mean, this is absolutely bonkers that they would crack down on this ability right here, which was maybe a reprieve to somebody in Europe. Go ahead, Erika.
I didn't even know that. That's news to me.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't hit any lawsuits, honestly, with that, because the parks were closed. And your hotels were closed. What did you expect people to, I'm sorry.
There might have been a pause a little bit for the closures of the actual parks themselves, but even past opening, remember, there were travel restrictions keeping people from coming in. And it's like, I can't use my points even if I wanted to.
Or even fear. People just didn't want to travel, out of their own personal,
That's a fair point too.
Well, at that point,
but
at that point, it's a gym membership. They're hoping you don't use it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So but I'm sitting here and what Ron said earlier about how can they legally get away with it. The more I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of seeing down the road that some of these DVC owners could possibly band together and sue Disney over this. Under what, specific circumstances, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but I just foresee them feeling that it's so unfair that I could see a group of them coming together and suing Disney over this. And I mean, we all clearly see what they're doing. They want people to buy into it.
Yes.
So by restricting the renting, someone like, any of us who aren't DVC members, Disney would basically say, oh, but you can pay full price for the same room, or you can buy into DVC. They are really trying to create income wherever they can because they are so broke and they need money.
I couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly what they're doing. And it's just shameful. This is why I wanted to highlight this story because, for a lot of DVC owners, they're going to get no reprieve in anywhere else. And all the news going on in other parts of the company and even other parts of the industry, this story kind of falls through the cracks right here. But I really did want to highlight this because I do think it's it might be criminal. I don't know. I mean, I guess they can run DVC however they want, Disney that being, but I don't know.
Now that said, I'm of the mind, I always like to, and this is not a good part of my personality. It's what gets me in trouble sometimes. I could see people trying to find a way to go around the rules. What's stopping someone from booking anyways on behalf of somebody they know or even somebody they don't know? They could put it out on their Facebook page. I mean, there's more than one ways to skin a cat, So I'm just sitting here trying to think, if I were a DVC owner and Disney's telling me I can't do this, I'm the type that would fire back with, I want to bet. I want to find a way. Whether I win or lose on that, that's another, thing, but I would try.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess you put your membership at risk. That would be the only concern right there. Here's the couple of the murals that
You mean the mirror? You mean
Marvin
the mirror?
was, yeah, that's what I said. The murals that Marvin was highlighting right there. Oh boy,
Yeah,
that's
I'm waiting to see if anyone gets the reference of mural where it's from.
ooh, yeah. Provide that in the
No,
chat
no.
if you have an idea. Ugh. Who would ever buy a DVC for this? Well, but maybe that's just a personal taste right there.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.